8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The President emphasizes immediate reforms in the global financial structure, the G77 summit. Sri Lankan marketeers lag behind the digital surge. The State Minister calls for a transformation. Prompt action to address a traffic problem at the Aturugiriya junction. The Examinations Department has announced a new date for the GCE Advanced Level Agricultural Science papers. The police has decided to trace traffic offenders in Colombo using surveillance camera systems. At least 25 people were killed in a shelling attack in the Russian-held city of Donetsk. President Ranil Wickremesinghe addressed a third South Summit today in Kampala, Uganda. He highlighted the numerous challenges the world faces, such as conflicts, pandemics, repercussions, climate disasters and financial market uncertainties. The President also emphasized the disproportionate impact of vulnerable G77 economies. In his statement, the President stressed the urgency of reform in the global financial architecture. The President pointed out that the contemporary international debt resolution architecture is more suited for a world where the Paris Club and the London Club dominated the global debt resolution. The President's media division reports that the President had expressed his dismay over the diversion of financial resources to debt services, hindering spending on essential public services and human development. He said it is impacting sustainable development goal targets. He also criticized the common framework for its inability to provide speedy debt resolution, causing delays in addressing recent sovereign debt distress in many G77 countries. Addressing climate finance, President Wickremesinghe highlighted the failure of the global financial system to meet the Global South's needs for mitigating and adapting to climate change. He introduced Sri Lanka's Tropical Belt initiative aiming at catalyze private investments for global public goods, including biodiversity, oceans and forest resources. Expressing concern about rising protectionist tendencies in global trade, the President urged decisions to be made in multilateral forums rather than unilaterally. He emphasized the need for coordination between the G77 and BRICS to ensure the smooth efficiency of global trade and investment. State Minister Kanaka Herath says Sri Lanka targets fully digital transformation by the year 2030. The minister emphasized the need to move beyond simply digitizing processes to a complete organizational overhaul driven by technology. The minister said the digital transformation aims to propel Sri Lanka onto the global stage. The minister also highlighted that leveraging its strategic location and thriving service sector, he added education, health, tourism and agri-tourism are identified as promising avenues for growth. The manufacturing sector will also target niche markets through exports of value-added products. Speaking at the Chartered Institute of Marketing CIMCXO conference in Colombo, the State Minister urged marketers to embrace a digital wave of risk being swept away. He also said Sri Lanka's digital transformation journey presents immense opportunities and also challenges. He added it can be done by embracing technology, investing in its people and fostering collaboration. He said the path forward is clear and the island nation is determined to seize a digital future. Dr. Bandula Gurvardhan, Minister of Transport, says prompt action will be made to address a traffic problem at the Aturugiriya junction. He says the public has been complaining over the issue for years and the ministry has taken measures to address the issue. He made these remarks when he engaged in an observation visit to the area this morning. The minister also accompanied several other senior officials of the Road Development Authority and the Urban Development Authority to examine the issue. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Government and government-approved private schools will open for the second phase of the third term on the 5th of next month. Meanwhile, the Examinations Department announced a new date for the GCE Advanced Level Agricultural Science papers. Accordingly, Paper 2 of the Agricultural Science paper will therefore be held on the 1st of February from 8:30 a.m. to 11:40 a.m. and Paper 1 is scheduled for the same day from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. The Commissioner General of Examinations Amit Jayasundara said that admission cards for private applicants will be mailed to their personal address and for school applicants admission cards will be delivered to the respective school principals. The second phase of the third school term, which was previously scheduled to commence on the 1st of February, has been postponed to the 5th of February, Monday, due to the announcement of a new examination date. The police has decided to trace traffic offenders in Colombo using surveillance cameras, and the police also plan to send is also planning to send fine sheets to bus owners based on CCTV cameras and the footage from tomorrow. Referring to the operation, the Lanka Private Bus Owners Association said they will refrain from operating buses from tomorrow. Addressing the media, chairman of the association, Governor Vijayaratne, said that it is unfair to send the fine sheets related to the mistakes of the buses to the owner of the bus. He added the police have taken the decision without having any discussions with the bus associations in this regard. It is unfair to send the fine sheets related to the mistakes of the buses to the owner of the bus, he added. He further said that the bus owners are ready to agree to this proposal if the bus priority lane is implemented and proper arrangements are made for operating buses.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe addressed a third South Summit today in Kampala, Uganda. He highlighted the numerous challenges the world faces, such as conflicts, pandemic repercussions, climate disasters and financial market uncertainties. The President also emphasized the disproportionate impact on vulnerable G77 economies. In his statement, the President stressed the urgency of reforming the global financial architecture. The President pointed out that the contemporary international debt resolution architecture is more suited for a world where the Paris Club and the London Club dominate global debt resolution. The President's media division reports that the President expressed his dismay over the diversion of financial resources to debt service, hindering spending on essential public services and human development.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
This is Watchlight.
The National Dengue Control Unit says that 3 dengue deaths were reported in the past 20 days of the year. According to the unit's official reports, the number of dengue cases reported daily has increased to 347. The total number of dengue patients identified so far this year is 7,299. The highest numbers of patients are reported from the Western Province. That number stands at 2,401. The National Dengue Control Unit requests the public to be vigilant over the issue and take maximum efforts to clean and keep the office and resident premises free of mosquitoes.
Coming up, World News.
In world news headlines, at least 25 people were killed in a shelling attack in the Russian-held city of Donetsk. The UN officials said Gaza destruction risks lost generation of children. A new report reveals more than 1 in 10 people in Japan are now aged 80 or older. At least 25 people were killed in a shelling attack in the Russian-held city of Donetsk. The Moscow-installed leader of the region, Denis Pushilin, said a Ukrainian strike hit a busy market and injured 20 people. He said emergency services were working at the scene and that information on the number of dead and wounded was still being collected. There was no immediate comment from Ukraine on the incident. Photographs published by the Reuters news agency appeared to show destroyed shop fronts as well as bodies lying in the street. Donetsk city and parts of the wider region in eastern Ukraine were first seized by Russian-backed forces in 2014, and the area has been partially controlled by Moscow ever since. The city is around 20 kilometers from the front line. Areas near Donetsk city, including Marinka and Advika, have seen some of the fiercest fighting of late. Al-Israel University became the latest major public building in Gaza to disappear from the map, blown up and destroyed by Israeli forces who had reportedly used it as a military base for several weeks. The war in Gaza has already led to unprecedented loss of life, but there is also growing concern about the destruction of public and private buildings. A senior UN official has told the BBC News of his fears that widespread damage will lead to a lost generation of young people. Israel declared war on Hamas after the group led a massive attack on communities inside Israel, killing about 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and taking some 240 others back to Gaza as hostages. Around 130 remain in captivity. Almost 25,000 Palestinians have been killed since in Gaza, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. For the first time ever, more than 1 in 10 people in Japan are now aged 80 or older. National data also shows 29.1% of the 125 million population is aged 65 or older, a record. Japan has one of the lowest birth rates in the world and has long struggled with how to provide for its aging population. The United Nations says Japan is the world's oldest population, measured by the proportion of people aged 65 or up. The proportion stands at 24.5% in Italy and 23.6% in Finland, which ranks second and third respectively. In Japan, those aged over 65 are expected to account for 34.8% of the population by 2040, according to the National Institute of Population and Social Security Research. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. At least 25 people were killed in the shelling attack in the Russian-held city of Donetsk. UN officials say Gaza destruction risks lost generation of children. A new report reveals more than 1 in 10 people in Japan are now aged 80 or older.
Development News.
The Sri Lanka Sustainable Energy Authority has been able to connect 1,604 megawatts of renewable electricity to national grid in the past 2 years. The chairman of the authority, Ranjit Sepala, said that renewable electricity was generated mainly from mini hydroelectricity plants, wind power, solar power, and also from combustion of biomass, including firewood. He said after the implementation of Electricity Act No. 16 of 2022, many obstacles which hindered the smooth handling of renewable electricity generation projects were removed. He added their plan is to achieve a target of adding 5,800 megawatts of renewable energy to the grid by 2030 and presently working in collaboration with the Ceylon Electricity Board to finalize the plan.
Moving on with sports news.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino has called for the implementation of an automatic forfeit of games for teams whose fans commit racist abuse. It follows incidents which he described as totally abhorrent at Udinese and Sheffield on Wednesday and Saturday. AC Milan's win at Udinese was briefly suspended after alleged racist abuse from home fans towards Milan goalkeeper Mike Magan. Coventry's Casey Palmer said he received similar abuse at Hillsborough. FIFA president said the events that took place in Udine and Sheffield on Saturday are totally abhorrent and completely unacceptable. He added that all the relevant stakeholders take action. He said that action should be starting with education in schools so that future generations understand what it is not part of football or society. AC Milan's players walked off the pitch after France international goalkeeper Magnan reported hearing monkey noises coming from a section of the crowd at the Stadio Friuli. The players eventually returned and Milan went on to win 3-2.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Baraka, a prominent leader in black seed oil and herbal product manufacturing, won the Best Exporter Award in the Herbal and Ayurveda category of the 25th Presidential Export Awards. The event was held by the Export Development Board of Sri Lanka. BioExtracts has expanded its reach to over 54 countries worldwide since its inception in 1993. The company said the award recognizes the team's efforts in overcoming challenges and maintaining international success. Baraka has been acknowledged multiple times for its excellence, receiving various awards like the Presidential Export Awards, the NCE Export Awards, and also the CNCI Industrial Excellence Award.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news, the International Trade Office ITO reveals the first round of talks relating to the proposed free trade agreement FTA between Sri Lanka and Malaysia has been fixed for March. ITO Chief Negotiator KJ Veerasinghe said that after the signing of the Sri Lanka-Thailand FTA in February, Sri Lanka would look to enter into FTAs with other East Asian nations too. He said the first round of talks with Malaysia for the proposed FTA was scheduled to commence in March. He added both countries have engaged in discussions over the past 5 years with regard to entering into an FTA.
Weather report.
Several spells of showers make at the north, central, east and Aruba provinces. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in central and Sabah provinces and at the Gala and Mathura districts after 2 p.m. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western Sabah and central provinces, the Gala and Mathura districts during the morning too. That was the report. Now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The President emphasizes immediate reforms in global financial structures at the G77 summit. Sri Lankan market has lagged behind in the digital surge. State Minister calls for transformation. Prompt action to address a traffic problem at the Atturgiriya junction. The Examinations Department announces a new date for the GC Advanced Level Agricultural Science papers. The police has decided to trace traffic offenders in Colombo using the surveillance camera systems. At least 25 people were killed in a shelling attack in the Russian-held city of Donetsk. That concludes this news broadcast. You are with Radio Sri Lanka on a Sunday evening.